Okay. Money making money making money.
Come on, you gotta tell me, how is this even possible?
It's easy. 1, you take your money and you put it in this secret spot. 2, you let that money grow with compound interest. 3, then you find a place for that money to go where it can work for you. 4, and then every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, you join me for a wealth webinar.
I'll do it.
It's free. Plus, if you join me now, you'll get my free ebook that teaches you to get all the money back for every car you buy, drive, and own. So take advantage of this opportunity and I'll see you there.
Hey, are you ready to take control of your financial future? Welcome to Private Money Club. Private Money Club is the ultimate online platform connecting real estate entrepreneurs with private money lenders just like you. Whether you're looking to fund your next deal or lend money to grow your wealth, Private Money Club is your go-to resource. You can post deals, find funding, connect with other like-minded professionals. It's just a community. It's a community that you need to plug into. If you're new to the game, no problem. Our Learn platform and our weekly coaching webinars and our on-demand resources are here to guide you every step of the way. Join a thriving network of real estate experts who are already making an impact and they're waiting to partner with you. So Private Money Club gives you the tools, the training, the connections, and everything you need to achieve your financial goals. So why don't you start now by going to privatemoneyclub.com. We'll see you inside. Hey, you need to become your own bank. And it's as simple as changing one thing, and that is where your money goes first. I mean, think about it. Household debts in this country are at all-time highs. You got tons of market volatility. You got the potential for Social Security running out of money. You've got global uncertainty, political divide, and you have to figure out where you're going to put your hard-earned savings. I mean, this is one of those times in history where the rich are getting richer, and it is time to learn the secrets of the wealthy. But here's the good news. Every single Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I put on a free webinar where I teach you how to take back control of your money by teaching you how to become your own bank. So click the link below and let's get started. So let's go into the app, because the app was created after a dating site, believe it or not. So people with money and people that need money. Phone, swipe left. Swipe left. Ooh, I like that one. Swipe right. You want to go on. If you got money, you want to swipe left through all the deals. When you find one you like, boom, you're connected. How much more difficult does this really need to be? This isn't rocket science. They want you to think it is because they want control of your money. It is time to take back control of our money. I want to invite you to a free interactive webinar that we're doing to teach you how to get prepared for what's about to happen and how you can grow, preserve, and protect your wealth and get it ready for a recession or maybe the next Great Depression. So all I need you to do is click the link below. You're not going to want to miss this with all this stuff going on. Are you sick of having your money lying around not doing anything? Well, we've got the solution for you. PrivateMoneyClub.com. Back to you, Chris. So that's what it is. Private Money Club was created for you and for all of us. So I've got something special. Since you're here, you're listening to us talk to you about the infinite banking concept, I wanted to make an offer. Private Money Club is something that will benefit each of you, but we've got what's called the Accelerator. The Private Money Club Accelerator is a coaching program that takes together the knowledge that you'll need to be your own bank and puts it together with the opportunities in Private Money Club so that now you learn and apply the knowledge. Check it out. We got a very special offer for you to be part of the next Accelerator coaching program and get you into Private Money Club so your money starts working for you.
Hey everybody, it's Buff Finance Guy here, ready to show you how to make some serious gains, but not only in the gym, with your wallet too. Most people put their money in the bank doing absolutely nothing for them, but I'm gonna show you how it doesn't have to be that way. So take Andrew here. His money has just been sitting lazy in the bank, but all he has to do is change one thing, and that's where the money goes first, and everything changes. Just change where your money goes first, silly.
Wait, just one change?
Yeah, that's it. Instead of sending it to the bank, you send it to your very own banking system. Your money can grow and get stronger, just like me.
It's time for Money School TV. You heard it straight from the horse's mouth.
He's been on the fence to come to PMC Money Tank. I'm telling you right now, you're missing out on a treat.
This is the ultimate watering hole for lenders and borrowers.
If you've got decent deals, you'll find the funding for it.
The networking here has been fantastic.
Absolutely phenomenal.
Tremendously beneficial.
Oh my gosh, so many people to network with.
First day, I probably met 5 or 6 people. They show me ideas, I show them ideas. We're actually on stage about 20 minutes ago, and since then, I've already had about 20 people reach out.
There are several people that I probably will be doing business with.
I have like 15 private lenders ready to fund my deals. The people here are amazing and so welcoming.
You walk in, everyone greets you right away. No one is a stranger.
It's just an amazing and comfortable place to be.
There's so much stuff that I've been able to learn that I didn't know. I've had aha moments over and over again.
They talked about normal rates of return, not 6%, we're talking about 10%, but in a way that's ethically sound and stable. It's full disclosure, but helps walk you through everything. They even talk about it on stage of like, we've already made the mistakes, so here we are, and we're teaching you to not make the same mistakes. You get to learn from us, you get to just follow our direction and just see what you can do. I've gotten great things out of the virtual events, but there's no comparison to actually coming here, experiencing the energy, and getting to meet all of the people. Everyone is here looking to grow in some capacity. Being in this environment, it allows you to feed on that and foster that.
During the event, they had a lender-borrower meet and greet, which is pretty cool.
It's different when you can spend some time, have a meal together, hang out, joke around. The people are just a blast.
It's so much fun.
The community of the Money Tank PMC, the whole crew with Chris, Stephen, Jonah, everybody, and Joe, they've all helped me out. It's been changing my life.
You're gonna learn something, you're gonna meet someone, and it's definitely gonna make a big difference in your business. Not by a little bit, but by a lot.
I mean, you could stay stuck thinking you can do it on your own. There's a lot of people that I talk to, their issue, and then they come here, and I talk to them a year later, and they've grown so much just by coming to this event.
Started $15,000 in credit card debt. As of today, I have $550,000 out in private lending. That's what this teaches you.
I tell people all the time, you have to get in the room to be around the like-minded people.
Go. It's worth it. Just come. Do it for yourself. Do it for your business.
Take action. You got to do it.
Come to the event. You don't want to miss it.
Well, the biggest thing I hope that people get is something that they can actually apply in their lives. You know, that's the biggest thing for any of these events that we want. We want people to leave here not just riled up, not just excited, but actually going out and doing something that'll put them in a better financial situation, help their family. And for the speakers, my goal is that they go out and they impact the audience and bring something the audience never had exposure to that allows them to then fill in that piece that they're looking for. I'm going to be talking about more lease options. I'm going to be talking about equity shares. I'm going to be talking about a bunch of fun stuff today. Because again, I'm not here to teach about how to do those deals. I'm here to teach about how to invest in those deals.
Filled with individuals that are like-minded, that are at the top of their craft, they're at the top of their game. And for anybody that's an attendee, it's just a mind-blowing experience.
It's almost going to be hard to speak anywhere else but here because it was such a great experience. I felt like, I don't know. It was amazing. Nothing less than amazing, literally.
At the PMC Money Tank event, which is an epic event that we're putting together that does one thing and one thing only, makes everybody money. It brings people with money together with people that need money. It's like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. You just smash them together and everybody wins.
Wednesday, 10:30 Eastern Standard Time. Do it live!
All right, we are live. Another week, another what the F happened. And there's no way we're going to be able to unpack all the things that are happening because every day it's a new story of something. But today we're going to cover a bunch of stuff. We're going to talk about the AI bubble. I just got a whole economic newsletter that literally dissects the inside of what is forming, which they are calling, or at least this economist is calling, the AI bubble. I think that's really relevant. It wasn't in the original topics, but I got to bring it up. The other thing we're going to talk about Wall Street. We're going to talk about Wall Street's record highs. Do they make sense? Do the earnings that you're seeing actually dictate or determine like that the markets should be as high as they are? And not only that, NVIDIA is going to be reporting earnings. I believe it's today. And they're up against some huge expectations, something like $93 to $95 billion, like in revenue. That's what's expected. Maybe they'll blow it out of the water. Maybe they won't. But like literally, remember, the S&P 500 is largely held up by 7 stocks, NVIDIA being one of them. What we're also going to talk about is the continuing saga of Trump versus Canada. That's just what I'm calling it. That's not what the news is calling it, but it is literally Trump versus Canada, and the tariffs and on auto and steel and all these things, which will definitely impact us. But the interesting thing, I read an entire article about that, and it's just strange that Canada feels they have the ability to fight this. And we're going to dive deep into this because when you look at the two amounts of imports and exports, right? They're pretty close in terms of what Canada imports from the U.S. and what U.S. imports from Canada. They're off by a little bit, but it's not much, like $300 and some billion or something to that extent. But where the difference is that's like 70% of Canada's exports. It's like 13% of ours. So like, I don't know, like if I was in that situation, I'd probably be rethinking like whether I have the power to negotiate that, but we got to get into that. We're going to talk about the Treasury. We're going to talk about what they're calling the economic D-Day. Okay. So that's an interesting one. Dick's Sporting Goods and Foot Locker cratering. We're going to definitely cover that. And on the U.S. side, we're going to hit the Trump administration and what's going on with the Supreme Court and how they got a temporary win for the mail-in voting. We definitely got to hit on that one. We're going to talk about my buddy, Mr. Mayor Mamdani, okay, out there in New York City. We're going to hit on him a little bit and how he's being sued. Okay, he's being sued, and I don't know. We're going to argue whether or not he should be or he shouldn't be about these grocery stores. And Colorado, a lot of lawsuits going on out there. There's the Facebook one, which we're going to hit on, and then there's also the Colorado lawsuit. So Colorado sued Trump because he's doing something with the Colorado River. Who knew? But we're going to hit that today. And we're joined by, or I'm joined by my co-host, Mr. Stephen Nagy, but we also have a guest, Mr. David Hammer. David Hammer's new to the team, but not new to the Wall Street world. So let's move this over and just have Stephen and David kind of give a little intro.
Yeah. What's up, guys? Good morning, my beautiful people of the world. Lots of wild stuff going on in the news today, as Chris alluded to. I even saw on the agenda, Chris, that Darth Vader is cosplaying as defending surveillance cameras. So who knows, man? There's always crazy stuff to get into. But beautiful day down here in South Florida. As always, looking forward to getting into this today. But yeah, our special guest, David Hammer, one of our new mentors and agents on the team. Looking forward for all of you learning from David. Lots and lots of years of experience in Wall Street. So, David, maybe just a quick introduction to yourself. And by the way, guys, we this morning did text David in about 45 minutes ago. It's like, hey, David, you want to join us this morning for What the F? He's like, he calls me immediately. He's like, Stephen, what are you talking about this morning? I met in a couple weeks. I'm like, so he's on this morning, though. And I must say, though, Chris, before handing it over to him, also, you look much better this morning, looking good. Yesterday, Chris jumped on our morning 9 a.m. meeting, had fresh out of the lake. He was literally still dripping wet. So
that was my shorts.
Abel had time this morning to get freshened up from the lake swim, Chris. But with that said, David, what's up, man? Introduce yourself.
Hey, thank you. You guys can hear me, yes?
We got you.
Thank you for letting me hop on last minute. I look forward to allowing me. I like the honor and privilege of being up here. I'm always usually a guy behind the scenes. If you guys notice usually in the chat, I'm talking, shattering, creating, stirring it up, but I love being in front of the camera. As Chris and Stephen said, I have 35 years of experience on Wall Street. So this definitely interests me in terms of like all the headline news, the noise that goes on. And I know that Stephen and Chris, you guys basically try to quiet the noise and give logic to exactly what's being reacted to. And I'd love to be, part of that discussion. So looking forward to it. I saw the list of your topics that may be discussed. I see kangaroos. I see 66-year-old skateboarder, which I'm sure
That's awesome. I love that story.
Warms Chris's heart. So love to be part of the whole discussion. So thank you.
Well, welcome to What the F, and we're coming in hot today, baby. So, Chris, let's get this baby kicked off. What do you say?
All right, let's hit the economy. I'm just going to come right out. Wall Street, right? Wall Street and the markets. You can't deny, like, it's pretty remarkable how they keep setting new highs in light of all this other Main Street news of how people are struggling with debt. They're barely making ends meet, the housing crisis and the problems in real estate. But yet Wall Street and the markets continue to push to new highs. And one of the things I want to talk about first is these record highs and how weighted they are on just a few stocks. And there's all the rage today about NVIDIA and their expectations of NVIDIA at $93 to $95 billion in revenue. Like, can they pull through? Are they going to hold up? And are the other 7 Mag 7 stocks, the Magnificent 7, going to be able to keep this propped up? Because I'm telling you, let me explain it this way. There's red flags everywhere. I don't care who you are, what you watch, whether it's CNN, CNBC, Fox, whatever, Bloomberg, the signs are just everywhere. And it is not difficult to spot a bubble. It is just not. Like, and I want David's take on this, and Stephen knows this because we're always ranting about this off, on our discussions, but there is no question whatsoever that there is a massive AI bubble. Zero question about that, okay? Those 7 Mag 7 stocks, they're telling the story too. But the thing that is hard, the thing that I've gotten wrong, and the thing I should have never monkeyed with, is trying to time when the bubble will burst. I mean, if Ray Dalio, the owner of the former owner of the largest hedge fund in the world, can't time the market because he almost lost his entire business doing that. If he can't time it, then what the hell do we think we can do that for? We can't. Who knows? This market craziness could go on for the next year, 2 years. I don't know. It just really comes down to what signs are there and what appetite for doing this. It kind of be like, here's how I'll put it into perspective, and then I want to turn it over to the other hosts. I live by Niagara Falls, very close. And, I was just 2 weeks ago, I was out on a friend's boat, and on the Niagara River, the current is wicked strong. Because obviously the Niagara River, if you all don't know, flows into this giant river, flows around Grand Island and flows into this little narrow passage, which makes up Niagara Falls, where the water goes over a ginormous waterfall. So when you're on a boat, you can get pretty close to, you can literally see the mist from the falls. And obviously it's all kind of buoyed off. And then there's a tripwire that when you get into the rapids, but you can see that from the boat. And if you shut your boat off, you will very quickly realize how fast you approach that danger zone. So if you ran out of gas, if your engine quit, you're pretty well, I don't want to say you're effed, but you're pretty close. So when I look at where we're at in the markets, it's kind of like being on the boat, right? You're on the boat, you're staring at the mist, you're looking at the falls, the engine's, idling, you're moving pretty quick toward the danger zone, but the thrill of it is pretty cool. And you're like, this is awesome. Look at that thing. But in the back of your mind, you're like, maybe we should put it in drive. Maybe we should kind of pull up the river a little bit more, because you're like, we're getting really close to the danger zone. And if one little thing went wrong with that boat, fuel, who knows? It's a mechanical thing. You are in a lot of trouble in a real quick period of time. That is exactly exactly where we're at with the stock markets right now. Like, it's pretty, it's fun to watch. Like, yeah, you know, when you're in it, it's just like, this is magnificent. Look at that mist. Look at the lights. Look at how beautiful that is. But you're in the back of your mind, you cannot help but to think, damn, I hope things don't quickly change. I hope the engine doesn't stop running. I hope nothing goes wrong, because we got about 5 minutes before we're hitting those rapids, and holy shit, that ain't going to be fun. I'm going to shut up. What do you guys think about where we're at, the signs, and so much emphasis being on these 7 stocks?
Yeah, David, I'd love to hear your take on this.
Well, the one thing is that the market's definitely priced for over perfection right now, and nothing is stronger as a propellant for the markets right now in the last year of everything AI. So it'll be interesting at the close, and the video is going to be reporting earnings. But I found from Wall Street that there are certain numbers that the pundits are gonna sift through. They're going to give an indication of exactly if this AI really continues to have legs. Because, Chris, you said that they're reporting maybe about $93 billion in revenue.
Yeah, 93 to 95 billion. That's what's expected out of NVIDIA.
Right. But what Wall Street's going to really look at is my history. There's always like these whisper numbers, which are like these numbers that are above and beyond what everyone is expecting. NVIDIA is priced, and AI is priced for such perfection in the current pricing that if it doesn't reach these crazy, overly inflated numbers, the market's going to be very disappointed, and then you're going to start seeing, a sell-off, which will tend to bring down the entire market. Because, like Chris, you said, there's 7 stocks. There always seems to be 7 to 10 stocks in a particular index that's going to prop up the numbers that you see in the markets that are being reported. So as soon as one of them, it's all weighted. So like as soon as one of them drops precipitously, you're going to automatically see that in the headlines. And I think that's unfortunately what could be happening with AI right now. The market's priced for perfection. I think what I always tend to underestimate is that there's still trillions of dollars
on the sidelines.
Right? And
how do you David, I got to interject. How do you factor that in? Because that's something. I was just talking to my neighbor yesterday. He's a doc. He's actually a partner in a surgical center, and we were talking about that exact thing. Like, even he, is seeing it, and he's saying, yeah, there's something coming. But he brought up, he's like, all the money on the sidelines. I mean, Warren Buffett alone has $400 billion parked on the sidelines. And that's just one fund. Like, you look at all the companies and you look at their balance sheets, they're flushed with cash. So how do you factor that into this whole thing? And, I don't know. I really don't. Because that wasn't the case in 2008.
Right. So I don't know what the number is, but there's always more money on the sidelines looking to be able to derive a better return than just sitting on the sidelines. So you have risk assets like financial, in the markets that are going to continue to command people putting in and be able to expose their sideline money to some sort of return. Of course, we could talk about at some point what's going on in the treasury market, which I don't know if you wanted to get into at some point, but
we're going to definitely talk about the Fed and the Treasury because we got 2 major topics. But real quick, I want to just kind of pigeonhole or push this over to Lynn Green, who's coming in from YouTube here. If any of you are worried about your stocks, your retirement account, or any of that stuff, listen, all you need to do is move to California, because this is what's on the docket, supposedly. But did you guys hear, at least in California, if you don't log on to your stocks at least once a year, the state can take them away from you? That may come as a surprise to some of you, but to me, I'm just like, well, that actually makes a ton of sense for California. I would never put that past California. I don't think that could go through, but there's a new law trying to go through. And no, we did not know that, but I am not even remotely surprised with Newsom and just the craziness that goes on in California. Why wouldn't they just take your stocks? Stephen, what do you love California? What do you have to say about that?
I've not heard of that, but it looks like it's not just California. It's called an escheatment It's called escheatment, and the way it works is
that's a cheat, all right.
If an investment account or stock holding has no owner-generated activity, such as logging in, voting a proxy, or cashing a dividend check for a state-defined period, typically 3 to 5 years, it's considered abandoned. And I guess that's when the state could take it. Once it's cheated, most states or their contracted brokers will sell the stock and convert the shares into cash. So I never knew that. It's very interesting, though. So if you have a Fidelity account, Charles Schwab, something like that, make sure you're logging in and at least logging in, I guess. Interesting.
Yeah, make sure you cash those dividend checks. I'm sure all of you that have 401ks and retirement accounts and all your money in the stock market, you're getting your dividend checks, right? Because I know for a fact I get my dividend checks every single year on my policy anniversary. Matter of fact, I don't just get one. I get one for each policy I have. Yep. They're not guaranteed, but you know what? I've never, ever in all the 20 some years that I've owned those things, not gotten my dividends. So if you're kind of like, man, I wish I got dividends. Hey, give us a call. We'll help you out with that. Make sure you get a dividend every single year. And yes, they can mail it to you in cash, but let's move this sucker on, Stephen. What do you want to cover next? You want to talk a little bit about the Fed? You want to talk about the Jackson Hole meeting and what's going on there? And I don't know, the economic D-Day.
Yeah, I'll pull it up. But shout out to Clara, man, saying what's up, coming in, saying thanks for the support of our whole team, myself, Noah, everybody out there helping educate. So Clara, thanks for following along and watching this morning. Love to see it. And Sean has said that the taking of the stocks reminds her of our pirates. So we're out there treasure hunting this morning. At least the state is robbing and looting like usual. So it's actually a pretty good comparison, the government to pirates. But nonetheless, let's get into the Federal Reserve, another pirate-ish system that's been created.
Where do you want to start with the Federal Reserve? And then after this, before we get to Trump versus Canada, I want to read some stuff from this AI bubble article that I got.
Yeah. All right. Let's see what's coming in. So first meeting from Jackson Hole with the new Fed chair, Kevin Warsh. So let's see. So this must have just so it's happening this week.
Because there's another rate decision in September, and this is kind of important. You know, this is what they're all discussing. The rate increase. Well, there's a proposed thought process that the rates could go up because of the sticky inflation, which inflation, just so you all know, went up a little bit this week. So this is interesting.
Yeah, so he's going to be standing tomorrow, it looks like, before the most scrutinized lectern in global finance for the first time as the Federal Reserve chair. And unlike every keynote his predecessors delivered from the same spot at Jackson Lake Lodge, the market has already made up its mind about one outcome, a neutral speech. That consensus is exactly what makes Friday's address more consequential than usual. 69% of fund managers surveyed by Bank of America expect a neutral tone. Neutral is already priced in. It is the surprise that moves markets in the backdrop heading into Kansas City's Federal Reserve Policy Symposium, a Treasury bond intervention that fizzled within 48 hours, a 30-year yield hovering near a 19-year high, and a federal open market committee fractured by the most hawkish dissent in nearly a decade. So the Federal Reserve's a mess right now. I mean, we saw it last week where they doubled the bond buybacks and the yields were back over where they started within 48 hours. So it didn't work. I think they're running out of tricks here, Chris. I mean, what do you guys think?
Well, they're not just running out of tricks. I mean, the thing, and I think we covered this last week, David and I don't even know how many texts have gone back and forth just about like one of the telltale signs, if you're, in Wall Street or you understand anything about the economy, like bond yields, like especially the long duration bond yields, like they're a telltale signal of what's coming. David, you want to talk a little bit about that? Because I mean, the thing that I don't think a lot of people realize, just because, we're all busy, is that, where the yields are right now, in the mid fours, if I'm not mistaken, but they were just under 5%, which is crazy. That signifies that there's a lot of reasons that rate is high, but none of them are good. And a lot of people forget that, just a few short years ago, those yields were like 2% or less. David, you want to hit on that a little bit and tell everybody from your standpoint of 30 plus years, because you've seen this a few times in 30 some years, what does it mean when bond yields spike and the Fed goes into emergency action and nothing's working?
So, Chris, as we were texting back and forth, maybe at the beginning of the week, is that not too long ago we had 30-year treasuries back before COVID almost at 1%, and we've spiked to we're now approaching on the 10-year it's 4.72. I think the 30 years at 5.3. But there's a the markets have the bond markets are smarter, in my opinion, than any government official. So the bond market, the people that play in that market, like it dwarfs the stock market like 10-1. So when you're seeing very smart people that are managing billions, trillions of dollars, a couple of things are going on here. One is that we have a spike in interest rates because there's a lot of uncertainty about the U.S. the state of the U.S. economy. So typically, a lot of foreign participants usually look to the U.S. Treasury as a safe haven. And now what we're seeing is that the markets are kind of telling us and the rest of the world that it's not as safe as it used to be, and that's why you're seeing the spike in interest rates, because now you have to attribute a higher rate for people to be willing to be able to bet on the U.S. economy and the government. So you have a confluence of factors going on here. By the way, I do not. I wouldn't want to be Kevin Warsh right now.
No way.
He's in a pickle right now. He's got the president, chirping in one ear like, I want low interest rates, but you have Fed governors that are saying like that is definitely a recipe for disaster. So I think it just portends that there's going to be some uncertainty, not in a good way, with higher interest rates. So that's my sense.
It's a good way to put it. So real quick, I want to just kind of deviate from what we were going to talk about tonight, because this just came in the mail yesterday. And this morning when I got here and my computer was just playing havoc on me, I read this and it was kind of just a good refresher of the past. And I think a lot of us have forgotten this because we just haven't had a recession in a very long period of time. Not the longest in history, but very long. It's been a bull run for too long, because like this is maybe one of the first times that the bull run in the markets, the strong stock market, has literally been so good for so long that an entire generation has no clue that the markets can go down. Or, well, I say that loosely, but they've never seen a down market, so why would they ever believe it could happen now? A lot of people, and I'm not kidding you, we hear this every week. There are people that literally feel that we are in a new paradigm, we are in a new time with AI, and the markets can't go down. And just because it happened in the past with cycles and everything else, like that isn't going to happen anymore because, well, several reasons. The Fed's just going to pump money, and the Fed's just going to buy bonds back. Some miracle is going to happen that's going to keep the markets from following the normal cyclical cycles they have followed ever since their inception. So here's just a quick crash course in the history. So after the dot-com bust, okay, and many of you on here, I think a lot of you on here remember the dot-com bust, early 2000s. The NASDAQ Composite Index fell more than 80%. I bet you don't remember that, because I didn't remember that. After the 1929 stock market crash, the Great Depression, the Dow Jones Industrial Average lost about 80%. Okay, I'm just calling a couple out. Japan's Nikkei 225 index plunged about 80% after its bubble burst in 1990. And we could go on and on and on. But here's the important thing. Like, those crashes didn't just rebound. They didn't just pop back up. Like, I think a lot of times people think, oh, during a recession, the markets go down, but in time it comes back up. Okay, so you're right. But let's put that into context. So the NASDAQ took 15 years to recover. So now let's just do some math. If any of you are in your 50s, your 60s, maybe your 70s, and you're looking at retirement or already retired, do you have 15 years to recover? I don't know. I mean, I guess modern science is good. They got that cryogenic stuff. I mean, 15 years. The Dow Jones, which I think even a better metric, took 25 years. You don't have time. I'm sorry. I don't mean to step in and kind of burst the bubble, but you don't have time. Hell, I don't have time to recover in 25 years. The Nikkei took 34 years. 34 years to recover. And remember, recovery means just getting back. Okay, I'm just calling this out. So that's an average recovery period of 25 years, measured in nominal terms. Adjusted for inflation, it would be even longer. Okay, so now that you know that, you got an 80% decline is what a real crash looks like. Recovery periods of 15 to 35 years are realistic if your goal is simply to get your money back. Forget about growing, just get your money back. So again, take a look at look in the mirror, look at how old you are, and just say, this is that Niagara Falls example on the Niagara River. Like, do you have time? If that motor cuts out, can you grab the oars and row yourself to shore? Can you swim to shore fast enough before you get swept over the falls? Like that guy that I saw went over the falls last week. The dude lived 600 feet down the Canadian side, and the guy lived. So I'm saying there's a chance. But here's the other thing that we got to look at. We got to look at the signs. So in here, he spells all these out. And I don't want to spend too much time with this, but he said nothing's easier than spotting a bubble. But the hard part is knowing exactly when it's going to burst. You can't time the market. That's effectively what he's trying to say. The AI bubble is near its breaking point. He gives a ton of warning signs, but let me just hit a few. Massive circular financing schemes. Remember, we've talked about that over and over on here. The outlet where we just plugged it into itself, right? Like it's supposed to get power. It's not plugged into the wall. It's not plugged into a power source. It just plugs into itself. That's going on. Okay, so that's one. Fundamental engineering flaws in large language models, negative cash flow among hyperscalers, tech giants that operate massive cloud computing and AI data center networks at losses. Okay. He's saying unpaid royalties to authors and creators because they've been absorbed into the large language model without any compensation. Then that has resulted in massive, and this is all just starting to happen. You haven't heard about it yet, but class action lawsuits, they're gaining momentum. You kind of can look at the Facebook settlement they just did today, which is not that, but it's getting close. There are tons of these, and who's going to pay for all that? And the thing he goes on, he's got a whole bunch more. The NVIDIA money loop. He talks about the AI's fatal flaw. The greatest flaw is that the model is not scalable. The cost for acquiring a new customer falls as the customer base grows. So the more people you have using it, that falls. And less or more compute, less profit. So they keep using more and more compute, more and more users. The profits are going to get dwindled because of this. So just by its sheer nature of how AI operates, it's just a flawed model is effectively what this says. And then he goes on to say, who escapes the sandbox of the AI bubble? You know, the Tower of Babel revisited. Anyway, I'm going on a rant here. I'm simply saying this is a really good article. And it's a really good article because it brings you back to reality. AI is amazing. It's here to stay. It's kind of like, you know, anybody that says, oh, AI is just a fad. No, it's not. It's not going anywhere, but it's got a long way to go before companies can figure out how this is actually going to play out. There are crazy stories with Anthropic and how some of their AIs that are put in these little sandboxes, you know, they have found ways to go out and hack into other things. You know, you got the Tony Robbins agentic AI agent that bought a dog, raised money, somehow found a way to make money, and went and bought one of those robot dogs so it could live. Like, okay, you might be like, oh, that's pretty cool. To me, I'm like, dude, that is scary as hell. But anyway, enough on AI. It's just one of those things that you just can't ignore, and you just can't.
Yeah, I mean, on that, Chris, China just had the humanoid robot Olympic Games. Did you see this last week? So
yes.
they're
I did. Matter of fact, I didn't even think it was real.
Yeah, look at this over here. You can see them racing.
David can run faster than that.
No, I mean they literally are beating every human.
Did it run into the wall? Did that really happen?
Yeah, there was There was a quick race where they had like two humanoids racing each other, and then one just like cracked right into the wall, like it didn't have a brain.
Yeah. Well, I mean, clearly they're not good boxers. That's good news. You know, these robots can't box. So, oh, well, that's a good kick.
I don't know. I wouldn't want to get hit by a piece of metal, regardless of how well they
more
are.
plastic than it is metal, but.
So more than 2,000 robots from more than 600 teams representing 16 countries competed. So one of the machines beat Jamaican track right Usain Bolt's 100-meter sprint record, running the 109 yards in just 9.39 seconds, beating Bolt a time of 9.58. So they're already faster than humans, and they're saying 5 to 10 years away from these being soldiers out there on the battlefield. So AI is not only here to stay, but it's accelerating very, very, very quickly.
All right. Well,
go
ahead, David.
I was going to just one quick thing, and I know you want to move on topic, is that with AI, what I'm also seeing currently is I'm seeing a lot of headlines talking about how there's a lot of opposition to future data centers all over the country, including like Greg Abbott was on CNBC, I think yesterday, the day before. He used to be a big proponent of like, yeah, let's build these data centers all over the place. And now that we're coming into a midterm election, you're seeing because there's a lot of opposition to, what it does to the environment and with water and everything else. That's, I think, going to become another topic that's going to pull away like this idea that AI is here to stay, but there's going to be some rough patches, and that the market's going to, I think, reflect that.
Yeah, I love that. Jim Collins said, do you think people on Zoom calls watch Skynet growing in Terminator 2? Have no idea, but to put a button on this whole economy thing, because I do want to get into, a lot of people are talking about the mail-in voting, and we do have that on the agenda today, but I want to talk about Dick's Sporting Goods cratered. So we keep talking about retail, and remember the disconnect between Wall Street and Main Street. Retail's, for the most part, not doing well. Dick's took a nosedive because Foot Locker's losses, and they slashed their future guidance. And not only that, the SEC has a major investigation going on a huge AI hedge fund that almost collapsed. So again, all these like little signs everywhere, signs. And then the very final thing I want to hit in the economy here is Trump versus Canada. Stephen, you got to take this one home, but yeah, there's Dick's Sporting Goods. I mean, it's not a huge story. It's just like you can see, like, you got the tech in the AI bubble, and then you got the retail, which they're just barely hanging on by the little finger here, little pinky. So what's happening with Trump and Canada? So that feud is going on. I just think it's funny that Canada, 70% of their exports, or the exports they give to the U.S. is 70% of their domestic gross product, if I'm not mistaken, if I read that right.
Yeah, I mean, Trump continues to play the game with tariffs. Now announced 50% tariffs on Canadian auto and steel imports starting in 2027, January 1st, 2027. This is being announced after trade talks between the two nations have basically collapsed. Canada has been ripping off the United States of America for years. Trump wrote on Truth Social on January 1st, tariffs on cars, trucks, large, small, automotive parts, steel will be increased to 50%. Canada is going to be treated like a state no longer. So Trump continues to use tariffs as kind of his, hammer to try and negotiate and make things better for the U.S. So we'll see if this actually goes into effect, or if Canada comes back to the negotiating table and works out a deal.
It'll be interesting to watch. I'm probably, out of all of you, maybe not Tess, but I'm probably the closest to Canada, being as we're right pretty much on the border here in Buffalo. So we know lots and lots of Canadians, and I've talked to many of them, and they can't believe what's going on. They're just like, I just don't understand what happened. And here we go. The saga continues. But Stephen, I think we should flip this thing over. Let's talk about the mail-in votes over on the USA side of things.
Oh, yeah, I like that idea. Let's see. Here we go.
Hey, are you ready to take control of your financial future? Welcome to Private Money Club. Private Money Club is the ultimate online platform connecting real estate entrepreneurs with private money lenders just like you. Whether you're looking to fund your next deal or lend money to grow your wealth, Private Money Club is your go-to resource. You can post deals, find funding, connect with other like-minded professionals. It's just a community. It's a community that you need to plug into. If you're new to the game, no problem. Our Learn platform and our weekly coaching webinars and our on-demand resources are here to guide you every step of the way. Join a thriving network of real estate experts who are already making an impact, and they're waiting to partner with you. So Private Money Club gives you the tools, the training, the connections, and everything you need to achieve your financial goals. So why don't you start now by going to privatemoneyclub.com. We'll see you inside.
My fellow Americans,
we're gonna have some fun with this, man. We get to talk about New York City's grocery stores and specifically talk about mail-in voting. So take it from there, Stephen.
Yeah, I mean, it's just wild to me. To me, this would be the most bipartisan issue ever. Let's secure our elections. Let's make sure there's no fraud happening on either side. But for some reason, like everything in the world, it becomes very, very political, and the back and forth always continues. But to me, mail-in voting would be the easiest thing to say, listen, this is the easiest way to cheat, is the easiest way to fraud. It's easy to go out there and do all the stuff where they collect them, they get them, they put them in. It's like, just eliminate it, except in certain situations, where you have to go through the process. You have to show your ID. I mean, all the rest of it. So I love to see, when anything is affirmed or on the positive that helps eliminate this kind of fraud when it comes to voting. So to me, this is a good thing. I don't really know much. So let's read through it real fast. So Supreme Court hands preliminary win to Trump on mail-in ballots executive order. So Trump administration wants to exert greater control over mail-in ballots ahead of the 2026 midterms, despite the primary role states play in overseeing elections. I mean, I can see why places like California, you're not even allowed to show your ID. Like, just the amount of rampant fraud that's potential there is just insane. But the Supreme Court handed an initial win to the Trump administration Monday in its effort to implement an executive order aimed at limiting who can receive mail-in ballots ahead of the midterms. At issue are provisions that seek to create a federal list of eligible voters and order the U.S. Postal Service to deliver ballots only to those people. This is in response to a lot of states will just send out mail-in ballots to everybody and just say, send them in, no proof of anything. So I think that's what they're trying to control. The justices divided 6-3 along ideological lines, with conservatives in the majority, lifted an injunction a Massachusetts-based judge imposed in June that prevented key aspects of the executive order from going into effect this year in California and 22 other states that had challenged it. The court also granted a similar application filed by Alabama and 11 other states. The White House praised the court's ruling, calling the executive order's provisions common sense measures. So with that being said, what do you guys think?
Well, I mean, if you look at, the left, Justice Brown accused the majority of enabling the administration's efforts to sow chaos ahead of the midterms. And I think that's funny, because the midterms are going to be chaos. They're not trying to build chaos for the midterms. The midterms are going to be purely chaotic. And everybody, just so you know, the king has arrived. Mr. Lazy Cash is in the house today. But I don't know. You got two different takes on it. One side's happy. The other side says you're just, creating chaos.
Well, this ruling, my understanding, is not like, it's not a finality. It's just
right.
It's like the first step. So like, my understanding is that there's states that are already mailing ballots to individuals. So like, I don't know how feasible it's going to be able to implement something very overreaching within the next month or two, even with this latest ruling that took place. So.
Well, more on that one later, but opens the door for us to continue to talk about that. I mean, it is, like they said, it's an interim win, or, well, at least that's what the administration is calling it. But let's move over to my little shitty state here in New York and talk a little bit about my buddy. You all know he's my buddy, right? Mr. Mamdani. Yeah, Mr. Mayor Mamdani, if I can even say his name right. Well, New York grocers, the privately owned grocers, have had enough, and they have launched a lawsuit against the mayor. I think specifically not against New York City. I think specifically against the mayor. So, I know Trump gets sued every day. We'll talk about Colorado suing him, but he can kind of fight it. But does Mamdani have like court appointed or state appointed attorneys to represent him? I don't know. Stephen, why don't you kind of hand this one over? The Big Apple and the lawsuits and yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we've been talking about the last, I don't know, month or two when Mamdani came out with this plan. He plans to build and open 5, city-ran grocery stores and offer staple goods at 30% discount. Opponents of the deal, believe that, the grocery stores run at a much smaller margin. So taxpayers are going to be subsidizing these large discounts on top of the fact that the cost to build and run these grocery stores is like 10x what the private system, what private companies would be able to do anyway. So it's a lot of, government control. So of course, people are claiming this is socialism and, the government has no right to do this. But Mamdani and the Democratic Party are quickly, very, openly saying, hey, yes, that's right. We are moving towards a socialist style government and we want socialist agendas and socialist policy. And that's exactly what this is. So it's a back and forth, but as imagined, other grocery stores are saying, listen, our margins are typically 2 to 3% on a lot of these goods. You guys are offering them for 30% discount. There's no way we're going to be able to compete. So we're going to quickly go out of business and lose our business to you guys. So, it's the age-old discussion of kind of what that looks like. But these private stores are suing Mamdani and the city over this plan. And that's where we're at. That's what this lawsuit is.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk about another lawsuit, Colorado. And this one, this is an interesting one because this is kind of what would be the ruling on this? But nonetheless, Colorado is suing Trump because Trump, the administration is cutting their capacity, I guess, with the Colorado River, if I'm saying that correctly. I read the article, but I don't really know how to unpack it. So like the Fed, you got the federal government is kind of controlling a river that definitely supports Colorado for sure. And they're limiting the amount of water flow that goes to Colorado. Have you heard about this one, guys? No? Not too keen on the topic. But basically, it's just a general suit against the administration because they federally mandated a reduction in the state's Colorado River water usage. So they're basically just federally mandating that Colorado can't use as much water, which I don't know. I guess that does kind of make sense that Colorado would sue them saying, hey, you can't control that. But just because the Colorado River is called the Colorado River, does it give the state ownership or the Fed ownership? I don't know. This is kind of one of those weird things where, state versus the government.
Yeah. And actually, just to clarify, it looks like it's Nevada that's suing the Trump administration over the state's Colorado River water.
I think you're right. I'm just calling it Colorado because it's
yeah. So it's Nevada. It's interesting though. A bigger topic here, I think. I just saw a story this week. There's a startup company out of Alaska. This is pretty wild, actually. So when we talk to water usage and droughts, there's major droughts that occur in places like Nevada, like California, like Salt Lake City has major issues with it. So there's this company out of Southern California, and just this week, Chris, they were able to use drones to seed clouds over Alaska's Kenai Peninsula, and they were able to generate an estimated 19 million gallons of additional precipitation in 3 hours. So they are saying that they have mastered how cloud seeding works, and they're going to be able to use drones to literally create water, rain, and get these areas out of droughts when they have problems with it. So I think that kind of ties into that a little bit there. But
dude, that's wild. What else is wild is that not everybody knows about Wealth Webinar. And we've got that happening today. This afternoon, we're going to be going live at 1 p.m. And today's topic's epic. It's week 4 of a 9-week series that we've been doing. Super pumped about this topic. The other ones are all good, but they kind of built up to this. We're going to be talking about real estate investing. But we're not going to just talk about real estate investing because some of you are like, oh, been there, done that, heard that. No. We're going to talk about how one investment can pay you 4 different times. And not only that, we're going to talk about the control and the things that you need to understand about controlling and how control always beats the highest number, the highest return. And it's going to be a really epic wealth webinar. So folks, if you want to join us, make sure you go to chrisnaugle.com, 2 index finger swipes. You'll see wealth webinar. You register for it. Then we'll send you the link and we'll give you the text notifications that it goes live at 1. But you really, really, really want to, even if you haven't been here for the other episodes that we've done of this 9-part series, it's okay. Each one stands on its own 2 feet. So this one is going to be, I think, Stephen, one of the best ones of the series. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, man, I'm super stoked. We're going to get into investing. We're going to get into how it works, how you can make your same dollar earn multiple ways. Yeah, it's going to be real good. So make sure they're 1 p.m. Eastern. It's free every single Wednesday. You know, I've tried to talk Chris over the years into making Wealth Webinar part of our paid membership groups because it's so much value that we give every week, but we continue to give the best stuff away for free. So take advantage of it. It's a beautiful thing. So we'll see you guys at 1 o'clock for sure.
Well, let's kick this off to wrap up the USA section of this. And let's talk football here a little bit. Let's talk about college football, but then let's talk about the NFL and how some of the NFL players are just looking to get a much better education. They're going back to college, man. I think it's a wonderful thing until you actually read why they're going back to college. Stephen, you want to take this one home? This is your category, man.
Listen, I'm super stoked. Football's back. College football kicks off this weekend. Florida State, 7:30 p.m. Let's go. But NFL preseason's going on now. They kick up in a couple weeks. I got a fantasy draft tonight, so wish me luck there. But yeah, college football seems to be in shambles. They, over the last several years, have instituted what they call NIL agreements, in like and kindness or whatever, where they're able to be paid for their name, for jersey sales. They're now able to earn money off of promotions and sponsorships, things of that nature. So these college kids are making millions of dollars right out of high school, some of them, which is just unbelievable. And then they institute this transfer portal where college kids can transfer from school to school every single season if they're not playing for whatever reason. It's just, there's no more loyalty. There's no more team, this is my team for all of college. That's all gone. Not only that, but all these television deals with these various conferences they basically cannibalized each other. So there's 2 major conferences now that have kind of eliminated all the small conferences that used to be around that really made college football what it is. And now on top of all of that, they have now announced that NFL players in the past, once you declared for the NFL draft, whether you played on a team, whether you were drafted or not, you can never return to college football. Once you declared for the draft, you are done. But now they're saying you can go back to college regardless. So there's literally a couple players right now that have played in the NFL that didn't perform. So they're getting cut from their teams. And they're like, hey, we're just going to go back to college. So they're going to go back and play for a college football team. It's insane to me. I don't understand it. I think it's not good for the sport. I don't think it's good for these college students. But that's the world that we're currently living in. So we'll see how
else are they going to make the Lambo payments, man? They don't have their own private banking system, so they're not getting all the money back for all the Lambos, Ferraris, and Porsches they're buying. So they got to pay for it somehow. Listen,
it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
So guys, there used to be these 5 year they red shirt, these players, and then they play for 5 years or 6 years. You're going to start seeing these college players that are on the college team for 7 or 8 years now. It's like the NIL has created the wild, wild west when it comes to college sports. So it's very interesting that, I didn't realize that people that actually played in the NFL are able to somehow, with a loophole, get back in and take a grab of this NIL money. And I'll just say one thing is my alma mater won the national championship in basketball, and the head coach, because of the NIL, within two weeks of winning Michigan, the national championship, he booted for the pros because He's now on the Dallas Mavericks coach, because the NIL has just created such lunacy with what's going on in terms of money going back and forth, and like players have zero. They're only loyal to the mighty dollar at this point. So what's good for one year is like they're out the door in a split second. So I'm not surprised by all of this.
Yeah. Well, there's another thing too, you know, now that we're talking about the money side of football and all these things, you know, and one of the big problems that has always been a case in professional sports, you know, I think it's more talked about in NFL than anything else, is, you know, these guys make millions and millions, if not tens of millions of dollars. And then, you know, they're redshirted or they're, you know, out of the league, just they age out, they injury out or whatever it is, and then they go broke. And I think one of the things they should make mandatory, and I'd love to kind of put this on the table for all NFL players and now college players, they must attend a virtual training called Own Your Money Live. And if they were to do that, they'd have a much better shot of staying wealthy instead of getting wealthy and then going to being broke again. Because Own Your Money Live, which is a brand new virtual training that we have kicking off here in the near future, and Stephen's going to kind of give you the dates and all that, but we are literally reinventing money and how you can own your money and how you can make your money work for you 24/7. And we've got a brand new bag of tricks that we're going to roll out in this one. Stephen, you want to tell them about Own Your Money Live?
Yeah, man. September 17th, 18th, and 19th. It's Thursday, Friday, Saturday coming up in just a few weeks. And I mean, the timing couldn't be better, honestly, Chris, with everything going on with the economy, everything we just mentioned about the stock market. You know, Besson saying, hey, we're not in a K-shaped economy, we're in a C-shaped economy. Call it what you want. Main Street is struggling right now. Debt continues to be a huge problem. Credit card debt continues to accelerate. I mean, let's not even talk about national debt. I mean, we're going to have to, what are we doing? Are we inflating our way out of this problem? Like we're tapping into our children's future. I mean, we just crossed $40 trillion in national debt. I mean, that's accelerated. I think I saw something. We were at like 8 trillion like 20 years ago or something. Like it's crazy how fast it's accelerating right now. It's a problem. So to me, it's more important than ever to at least understand what's going on with your money, with your income, with your expenses, and how to be smart with it. Because there are strategies that we teach every single week that we're going to go into in depth on during this Own Your Money Live Money Multiplier event that are going to show you how to take your same income and just make it go further for you. Use it to build for the future while still paying down debt, getting out of this high interest stuff. So make sure you keep your eyes and ears open on your emails and on our announcements. Get your ticket for the event. It's virtual too. That's the best part. It's right on Zoom. So you log in each morning on Thursday morning, all day Thursday, all day Friday, all day Saturday. We record the thing. We give you the recordings with the VIP tickets. So you can make sure you can go back and watch anything you missed, refer back to it, sit down with your family and talk through it. But very, very important. So make sure you grab your ticket for that. And Chris, you're going to be joining us again for the first time in a few weeks.
I'm super pumped to be back in the saddle, man. Really am.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, let's move this sucker on to what the F is going on in the world, because we're not done with all the crazy shenanigans going on. So let's cover that topic.
Money making money.
Come on, you gotta tell me, how is this even possible?
It's easy. 1, take your money and you put it in this secret spot. 2, you let that money grow with compound interest. 3, then you find a place for that money to go where it can work for you. 4, and then every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, you join me for a wealth webinar.
I'll do it.
It's free. Plus, if you join me now, you'll get my free ebook that teaches you to get all the money back for every car you buy, drive, and own. So take advantage of this opportunity, and I'll see you there.
So Ukraine and Zelensky are back in the headlines, and Zelensky, and I kind of see where he's coming from, basically is ignoring or refusing to acknowledge the wartime elections and saying that if something happened and it was split, like it would destroy Ukraine. So there's a whole bunch of stuff going on there. And you know, it just blows my mind that this
Russia-Ukraine war is still going on. And, there's a lot of footage if you watch, not so much on social media, but you can find it if you go into, I can't even think of what that other one is that I see it on all the time, but there's always stuff. And that war is largely being fought by drones. It's interesting. Like, instead of shooting at planes in the sky, they're just shooting at drones. But Zelensky, rejected his basically had an ousted former defense minister who was calling for a wartime election, saying the vote now would destroy the company by splitting Ukrainians while Russia continues drone and missile attacks. Ukrainian law bars elections under martial law, and the policy is still broadly supported domestically for them. And I don't know, what do you guys think of that? Like, should there be an election during this war, or should they just let it ride the way it is and let him continue to finish it out? What's your take? Are we still funding them?
I'm sure we fund everything.
I mean, is that why?
$40 trillion, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, might as well. Hey, we hit 40. I mean, let's shoot for 50. Let's do it.
What's another 100 billion or two between?
I think there's an argument to be made. Like, this is an extraordinary time in that part of the world, and to hold elections that are going to be consequential when, there's been things going on. What is it like? Are we going on 5 years now?
Yeah.
To have elections, I think that they could have major implications that I think there's enough risk in that area of the world right now to then introduce elections there. I think there is a point to be made that there should be a moratorium until things sort of, like, there's some more clarity about exactly the direction that's taking place there. So that's my take on it.
Well, I mean, there's still no shortage of news about the Strait and what's going on over there. I guess another oil tanker got struck by an unknown projectile. And it came very shortly after Iran said we're going to attack. And it just kind of is wild. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to see it, but the U.S. Navy is so big. I mean, it's the largest Navy in the world. I mean, the most powerful by a long shot. And, like, one side to hear, like, that we've got control of the Strait, but then there's all these, and I guess they're just smaller boats, but, then they're attacking these oil tankers still. It's just like, if they got control of the Strait, doesn't that mean we got a bunch of ships there? And it doesn't seem like, I'm completely out of context, but when you look at it from like a map, it doesn't seem like it's an awful lot of waterway to patrol. And I don't know, Stephen, I don't fully get it. I don't understand.
It's a mess, man. But I mean, Ukraine, Russia, Israel, and the Middle East. I mean, it's a mess over there right now. It's not helping anything with the oil prices, with our inflation, with the economy. Trump said we were going to be in and out of this thing. It's definitely dragging on a lot further than I'm sure anybody wants it to. There's the claims that, we're wearing them down. They're lying. Everything's good. They keep saying, they're winning. Where do we go with it? I keep hoping for a conclusion sooner than later. I mean, that's all.
Yeah,
you can really
I think all of us are. It's just sad. It really is.
Yeah.
Anything you want to say on that, David?
No, just the fact that, like, it seems like we get news like every other day about, like, it's open, it's closed, it's open, and closed. I don't even know what's accurate being reported right now, but it doesn't, obviously, coming into an election, like, I would think that the administration wants to get some clarity about that so that they can control, the affordability issue, and that's going to come up, including, obviously, I think the average household is paying, I think, something like $1,000 or $1,200 more just in gas consumption than they were a year ago. So I would think that they're going to try to figure something out on the before November. But
it's interesting. Chris Ash just put something up about Jim Rickards, which is interesting because that article I was reading earlier was a Jim Rickards article. Jim Rickards thinks the U.S. and Russia should make a deal. America stops funding Ukraine in exchange for Russia stopping support to Iran. Both countries they want. Listen, I don't know. That seems like it's a good deal. One that could make meaningful impact. We'll see what happens with that. But China
China's got something going on over there in the Philippines. Stephen, I haven't studied this one, so I'm not really the person to really talk about it, but more than 200 Chinese vessels have gathered around Mischief Reef in South China Sea, raising fears that Beijing is preparing to pressure or seize the nearby Philippine-controlled Second Thomas Shoal. The vessel count has surged from as few as 40 in mid-May to now over 200. I don't know. Anything to worry about there, you think?
I'm not sure. Do you know what the news source is, though? That new UPI? Do you guys know what that is?
I don't.
United Press
UPI.
International? Yeah.
What is it?
The United Press International? UPI?
I'm not sure. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Korea Review, Regional Review. We've been using, we created a bot that helps us pull the top stories each week using AI, and we're still kind of fine tuning it a little bit. And so I'm not sure exactly this source it's pulling from. So I try.
That's reputable. That's, I mean, if it is what I think it's an acronym for United Press International.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, it just might be stories that we don't typically see if it's pulling from international. So it's kind of cool. Yeah, I'm not familiar with the story though, Chris.
I'm just calling out some things as we kind of get there. But listen, I want to hit just what the F real quick because there's some really funny things. And we're going to rapid fire through this, folks. So if you're sticking around, I know we're at time, but we just got to rapid fire because this is some fun stuff. Stephen, let's do just what the F.
All right. Let's hit it.
What the f? Yeah, that's about right for this. So Darth Vader, you all know him, you love him or hate him, but he is your father. He crashed the San Diego City Council meeting. So good for him. Like at least somebody standing up there, Stephen. And then we got a Wisconsin cat setting a Guinness record with 29 toes. Cashy, how many toes you got? 15, 20 toes on him. Cat with 29 toes. Anyway, you want to go deeper into either one of these stories? And then we cannot, please don't miss.
Here at Harry's, we've spent the last 10 years on something huge. Developing the forbidden razor, that big razor.
Oh, forbidden razor.
Friggin' ads, man. I can't stand the ads. I did see
Yeah.
the Darth Vader story, though. So a guy dressed up as Darth Vader went to a board meeting, council meeting, and was just basically saying that, hey, these flock cameras. Have you guys been following the flock camera controversy? So the flock cameras are, the dark side, and they're going to take over the universe, and all that. It really is an interesting argument, though, or a debate, I guess, so to say, with these flock cameras. Because one side, it's like I get it. Like I want, if somebody robs me, I want the police to be able to use everything in their power to be able to track that person, find them, and get my stuff back or punish them, whatever. But at the same time, like, do we want nefarious characters using these flock cameras for bad things? Can they break into our privacy? Do we not have privacy anymore? I know we all walk around with these cell phones, but but so it's a good debate. I don't know. What do you think, David?
I mean, definitely. I mean, this whole idea with the flock cameras, it's like everything else. There's a flood of, the pendulum's always it goes one way. So now it's like overly surveilling the public, and then there's going to be pushback, like the Darth Vaders of the world that show up at a local San Diego city council meeting. I think there's going to be somewhere in the middle. There's going to be some legislation that's probably going to crack down a little bit on maybe the over surveillance with flock cameras. So I think we're going to see probably something in the next maybe 3 to 6 months where there's going to be some legislation that'll probably lessen a little bit the overreach when it comes to these type of things. That's my thing.
All right. Well, let's give some shout outs to some animals in rapid fire. So there's a kangaroo that is loose. It's hopping through Kansas, and some people mistaked it for an injured deer. Have they not been teaching people in school like the difference between deer and kangaroos? Because there's a drastic difference. And I don't know, like if I saw a kangaroo hop, and I definitely would not mistake it. Oh, that deer, look at that deer. But that's happening right now. Also, this is a good story. In LA, a coyote stared down a bear protecting her pups. So good for you, Coyote. And then there's a bison who's taking just a little tour around farm country and just checking out the Virginia neighborhoods. Not a bad sight to see. You got a big bison just checking things out, smelling the roses, out for a stroll. But they safely escorted him back to a nearby field and reunited him to his owner. I didn't know you could own a bison, but sure. Stephen, you going to get yourself a bison out there?
No,
Maybe a coyote or two? When
I lived in Virginia, we lived right by a bison farm, and we go eat bison burgers. They're absolutely delicious. Incredible animals, though. They're humongous. I know as a vegetarian, you don't like to hear that, Chris, but they are very healthy, very, very healthy meat. And yeah, they're gigantic animals. Very cool.
And then you got a bear stealing a bag from the Colorado fire station. I mean, why is that surprising? Because it's Smokey the Bear. He's just trying to put the fires out. And I think the biggest story of this entire thing, sorry, we're kind of over, is a 66-year-old. Now, you know, like I'm 49 and I know how I'm feeling, pretty good for 49, but a 66-year-old becomes the world's oldest competitive skateboarder. He used to compete professionally and has never stopped skateboarding since 1975 and extends her own Guinness World Record as the oldest female competitive skater. I think that's just badass.
I don't see how you're not.
My name is Judy Oyama, and I got the Guinness World Record for oldest competitive skateboarder female. Yeah.
Oh, I'm definitely, no, I'm not female, but like, I don't know what the male record is, but I'm definitely going to hopefully challenge that sucker when I get to that point. But Tony Hawk, man, he's still crushing it at a pretty old age, and he's not going to stop. But that's it. That's it. That's all for the webinar today. Stephen, David, anything you guys want to put out there? The king has left the building.
Oh, we're good, man. Wild news as always, though. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, that's a wrap, folks. Sorry we went a little over for this, but hopefully you enjoyed the Just What the F, and we'll see you this afternoon, 1 p.m. Eastern. Go to chrisnaugle.com. That's Naugle. Scroll down, register for Wealth Webinar. We'll see you at 1 p.m. Eastern, and we're going to talk about real estate and investing. We'll see you then.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, David.
Thank you.
Thanks, David.